Namaste, everyone. I am Pranit Jain, your head of social initiatives, and I would like to welcome you to today's school assembly. Now, this year hasn't been easy for anybody. From online elections to virtual assemblies like this one, we're all having to adapt to this new pandemic hit world. But it's really the poor, the underprivileged who are suffering most. Social service is an integral part of who we are, so it wasn't a surprise to see so many Ramites rise to the occasion and lend a helping hand to those in need. Just in the past few months, we have seen more than 100 initiatives come up, with many gaining recognition and winning awards. And that's not it. There were over 200 student volunteers for our first online Summer Bloom program with NGOs. Now, we at the Department of Social Initiatives are dedicated to this very sentiment of giving back to the community. And we have been working day and night to extend this to your homes. Which is why, for the first time ever, I am extremely excited to announce the launch of our school's very own website for social initiatives.
This is an incredible opportunity for you to make a difference. By registering your social initiative, you can garner volunteers, raise funds, and open doors to all sorts of tools and resources that take your initiative to the next level. There are other ways to give back as well. You can volunteer for any initiative and cause of your choice, doing community service and CAS in flexible hours without even leaving your house. If you're a parent or teacher or even a student looking to make a difference, you could always contribute to a crowdfunding cause that needs your help. Perhaps you're a 7th grader eager to start and lead your own project. You could request for circulars and assembly slots without the hassle of writing lengthy proposals or running from teacher to teacher. This platform is for everyone. Visit the website now at www.tsrsmsocialinitiatives.com and make a difference. And in case of any queries, don't hesitate to reach out to us at our brand new email address given on the screen. We still have a lot more in store for you, including intercontinental video conferences with students from around the world. So stay tuned.
On that note, I would like to hand over to Aaron Anand from grade 7, a member of the Film Appreciation Society, who will be hosting a talk show today on a very popular Disney musical production, which has been a worldwide hit recently. I'm sure I don't need to ask you to guess because you all know it. Yes, it's Hamilton.
In the summer of 2009, a young playwright named Lin-Manuel Miranda went out to Washington, D.C. in America to perform Hamilton for the first time in front of a live studio audience. Part of his audience were Michelle and Barack Obama, President and First Lady of the White House. Lin-Manuel was laughed at, of course, because his play was on the White House Treasury Secretary, Alexander Hamilton, who people thought didn't really have that much of an interesting life. But now, 11 years later, Hamilton is one of the most celebrated musicals in recent times. And these days, it's been put on Disney Plus so that the general public can watch it instead of small groups in New York City. This is Hamilton.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
The $10 founding father without a father got a lot farther by working a lot harder, by being a lot smarter, by being a self-starter. To your union and the hope that you provide. May you always be satisfied.
This is Hamilton.
Wow, that was a great trailer, wasn't it? Now let's meet our panelists for our discussion. Hailing from 11th grade, we have Meera Kapoor.
Hi, I'm Meera Kapoor. I'm in IB1C. I've been a massive Hamilton fan for the past about 1.5 years, and my favorite character is Thomas Jefferson.
Hailing from 10th grade, we have Swasti Chaudhary.
Hi, I'm Swasti Chaudhary, and my favorite character is everyone's favorite fighting Frenchman, Lafayette.
And also hailing from the 32,000 ships in New York Harbor, we have Naira Dhar.
Hello, I'm Naira Dhar from 10C, and my favorite character is John Lawrence.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's get on with our discussion. So when you guys first heard that Hamilton was going to be coming out worldwide, what were your first reactions? Meera?
Well, it's funny. Actually, the reason I found out that Hamilton was coming out on Disney Plus was because I had started sort of drafting this YouTube playlist with all the performances of Hamilton I could find, because I'd convinced myself that I would never be seeing it. And then the trailer showed up, and I'm pretty sure I screamed very loudly.
Swasti?
Yeah, I think like most people who were fans of Hamilton before it actually came out on Disney Plus were fine with the fact that they'd never be able to see the show live, or even like videos of the show in a complete compilation, but that changed when it came out on Disney Plus and sort of fulfilled all our dreams.
Naira?
Hamilton was actually my introduction to theater. I hadn't really seen many plays before it, so this was the first one I saw. And I saw it purely because my sister wanted to sing the Schuyler Sisters with me and my younger sister. So that's how I was introduced to Hamilton.
So let's get to our first question. What is one flaw or something that you would like to change about the play? Meera?
Yeah, I think a lot of the characters just disappear out of nowhere, and they need. I think in the performance that they've streamed on Disney Plus, they do have the explanation for the disappearance of one character, but there are quite a few who disappear, like Hercules Mulligan. Yeah, and there's no explanation as to where they go. So, otherwise, nothing.
Swasti?
I feel that since it is based on history, there are a lot of the characters whose flaws are sort of ignored completely. And while they are your favorite characters and singing your favorite songs on stage, it's really important to be aware of the fact that they have not as glorious a past as you may think. And like a lot of the characters shown were slave owners, and I think while watching the play, some of those things are ignored. So as viewers, you just have to be really mindful of that.
Naira?
I personally wish that Mariah Reynolds' character was less villainized, because in the musical, Alexander Hamilton is shown as the victim, and Mariah Reynolds seems to be the reason why his marriage falls apart, when in reality that's not what happens, and she is the victim in the situation. And I wish that that's the arc that Lin Miranda would have taken.
Now, getting back to Swasti's point, do we think that the Finding Fathers depiction was honest or a bit too pure to the eye? Swasti?
So, like I said, not all the founding fathers are talked about in Hamilton itself, but I mean, since it is a musical, you can't expect it to be 100% historically accurate, but you have to acknowledge that, yes, in places it may have been too pure. Like Hamilton, like to say, was not as against slavery as it may have been shown in the musical, and which is fine because it is supposed to be it is supposed to be for entertainment, but as long as you are aware of the fact and willing to acknowledge that, I think that's what's the most important.
Naira?
I think it's interesting because I don't think you can go into every character's fault because it is Hamilton's story. So focusing on Thomas Jefferson's faults and stuff wouldn't make sense. But I do agree that they have been given a bit of a hero status, which shouldn't have been given.
Meera?
Well, it's interesting because there has been a lot of talk about this particular topic. But I think in the end, you have to remember it is for entertainment purposes. You have every right to go and research about these people on your own. But at the end of the day, this is a work of art. It's not going to be wholly accurate all the time.
Now, getting back to the play, from whose perspective would you most like to see the entire play out? Naira.
I would have personally liked to see from Angelica's point of view because she is depicted as a very smart woman and she is quite a lot like Alexander. She has a very similar thought process, but I do think she thinks out her actions more and she isn't as reckless as Alexander. So I think that would have been interesting. She was also shown throughout the play, so I think it would have been nice to see her point of view from her views on Alexander in the musical.
Meera?
Well, I personally would have loved to see it from Lafayette's point of view because because after the war's over, he goes to France and there's a whole French Revolution going on, and I'd love to see like what his reaction was to seeing all these people who he knows in the state that they eventually reach.
Swasti, what's your opinion on this?
I agree completely with Meera because I feel that Lafayette is somehow, it's not always like on stage, but has been there in Act 1 and Act 2. And I would love to see how contrasting his relationship with both Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson, who are like quite the opposite, would be.
Now, let's imagine that in the future, a sequel arises to this play. I know, I can see the smiles on your faces. Yes. If a sequel arises, what would you like to see in it?
I would have
Naira?
liked if what Eliza did after Alexander Hamilton's death, because she is the reason why we know about Alexander Hamilton, and she's the one who like carries his story forward. So I think it would have been very interesting to see her and how she made the orphanage and how she interviewed all the soldiers, and I think that would have been an interesting sequel to the musical.
Yes. Meera?
Well, actually, I think it would be, I agree with her. It would be a really good idea if they did Angelica and Eliza, what happens to them after Alexander Hamilton dies. Because one thing in this play is they've chosen to amplify the thing of the women, because in that time they weren't nearly as outspoken as they're shown in the play. And so it would be interesting because they're already giving them that voice. So it would be interesting if they could take that forward to a sequel, perhaps, and show it from their perspective.
Swasti?
Again, I agree with both of them, but again, I feel like a sequel is quite a controversial topic since a lot of the characters we have do not make it past the play. But again, I agree, Eliza is, so, although her story also sort of comes to an end in this play, it would be lovely to see a more in-depth version of what she experienced and just her life in general.
Getting back to our homeland, if Hamilton was set in our country, if India, and it was set in the Indian struggle for independence, who do you think would take Hamilton's role? Swasti?
So one of my personal favorite freedom fighters and someone I believe deserves to have his story told is Bhagat Singh. And I feel like him and Alexander Hamilton shared a lot of the similar characteristics, and it's just someone whose life I would be really interested to know about, and I think I'd love to know like what went on in his head.
Meera?
Well, that's actually a pretty interesting question. But I have this theory about the founding fathers in that they have very similar characteristics because they're all in the same situation, if you look at it. So I don't think I could actually choose one Indian founding father who would correlate to Hamilton, because a lot of them, some of them have his recklessness, some of them have his like intelligence, some of them have his way with words. It's very difficult to choose one.
Naira?
I personally feel, because I honestly, as a female, I really love Jhansi Ki Rani, and like we've been told her story from when we were like younger. And the thing is that, like Hamilton, she had the entire world against her because she was female, so she had to fight for her position. And even Hamilton, he didn't just become one of the founding fathers. He had to fight for his position, and so I think it would have been incredible because she's also such a courageous person, like Hamilton. And I think that was one of the best features of his personality, and what made the musical so incredible was that he took his chance, and I think she did the same thing.
That was a fascinating segment of discussion. Now we shall be going on to a rapid fire round in which we shall ask trivia and fun facts from these contestants. Each contestant has prepared 2 cards, a yes and a no card. I shall ask them statements and they should tell me if it is true or false with a yes card or a no card. Let's start. Meera, did Hamilton found the Washington Post? Swasti, did Aaron Burr run for president in 1800? That's correct. Naira, did did Thomas Jefferson participate in the duel that killed Alexander Hamilton? That's correct. Looks like all 3 contestants have gotten out lucky. It seems like they're true Hamilton film buffs. We hope you enjoyed this piece of Hamilton propaganda. With this talk show, we hope that you start watching some films and movies which are very important in modern culture. And to end on a lighter note, I would say you've only got one shot. Now, the Film Appreciation Society would like to present a Thrace singing the song Burn from Hamilton. Good day, folks.
I saved every letter you wrote me. From the moment I read them, I knew you were mine. You said you were mine. I thought you were mine. Do you know what Angelica said when we saw your first letter arrive? She said, be careful with that one, love. He will do what it takes to survive. You and your words flooded my senses. Your sentences left me defenseless. You built me palaces out of paragraphs. You built cathedrals. I'm rereading the letters you wrote me. I'm searching and scanning for answers in every line, for some kind of sign when you were mine. The world seemed to burn. You published the letter she wrote you. You told the whole world how you brought this girl into our bed. In clearing your name, you have ruined our lives. Do you know what Angelica said when she read what you'd done? She said, you have married an Icarus. He has flown too close to the sun. You and your words obsessed with your legacy. Your sentences border on senseless, and you are paranoid in every paragraph of how they perceive you. I'm erasing myself from the narrative. Let future historians wonder wonder how Eliza reacted when you broke her heart. You have torn it all apart, I'm watching it burn. The world has no right to my heart. The world has no place in our bed. They don't get to know what I said. I'm burning the memories, burning the letters that might have redeemed you. You forfeit all rights to my heart. You forfeit the place in our bed. You'll sleep in your office instead, with only the memories of when you were mine. I hope that you burn.